Hey guys, what I've got here, you will open up, you will have a second one that is student budget template on your own. This is the work together. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go through an example using Sarah over here. So here's her information. And we're going to go through here and complete a budget for her. Now, this looks a little different than the one that I may have on here linked. If there's a different one, that one is just a suggested budget template from Dave Ramsey. This one differs because basically you can type into it. So, what I did is, and you can go to mint.com and download lots of templates for budgets and then make it your own. So you can personalize any of these things in these areas to fit your needs. So as you go through high school and you go on to college, they have student college based budget templates too that you could download and use those. So keep that kind of in the back of your mind when you need a budget for something or later on down the line. It's a good place to go to get a free instead of having to Google all over the place. So just think of Mint as being money, and anyway, it's got a little mint there. So, okay, getting started. Sarah is a student in high school. She makes $480 per month working at Burger King. She pays for her cell phone each month, and it's $80. She pays her car insurance each month. It's $100. She likes Apple Music on her phone and eating at her favorite restaurant, and she spends about $50 in gas going to and from work. Okay, so then what we're doing over here is our categories, and we're going to plug in the information given here and put it into these categories. So the thing to keep in mind when you're doing a budget is you have to do the things that are needs first. So when your parents sit down and decide what you spend each month, they already kind of know in their head. They may not physically write it down and say, okay, we have $20 left to eat out or this week or something like that. But they've done it for so long that they sort of already know before without having to do that. When you're starting out, it's a good idea to do it on paper so that you get in that habit and you get into that frame of mind for having something for a place for every dollar. Okay, so we're going to start out here. It is July. Estimated monthly income. It says Sarah makes $480 per month at Burger King. We're going to plug that in there. Sarah might get allowance from parents or do some other work, but we're not going to put that. So, and I was really nice, so I totaled these up for you. So it's going to bring your total there to $480. Okay, again, monthly expenses for the month of July. Sorry, that's a repeat. And now we're going down to expenses. I left rent and utilities because there are some students that are your age and older that do have to pitch in on certain home responsibilities. But we will skip those because if we look over here, Sarah, the first thing Sarah pays for is her cell phone, and that's $80. So we're going to go to cell phone and put $80. She doesn't pay for a car payment, but she does pay her car insurance, and that's $100. So we'll skip to that one. So if you see where I'm at, car insurance, $100. Cell phone was $80. All right, and see, this is adding this up for you down here. So you're going to get a total there. You won't even have to add it. Okay, so then the next thing is Sarah enjoys Apple Music on her phone. So Apple Music, we're going to guesstimate at $10. And it looks like that would be on line 29, music and technology. So we're going to plug in $10 there. We don't know yet how much to give for eating at her favorite restaurant. So we're going to go on down to how much she spends in gas. This is important because she has to get to and from work so she can make that $480 a month at Burger King. So we're going to plug in $50 for gas. That's in line 33 and put $50 there. Okay. So we're at $240 out of $480. So I'm going to go over here in my side margin, and just so I don't have to calculate it in my head, I'm going to put $480 and then subtract 240. So that leaves me with 240. Okay? So I know I need to plug in 240 somewhere along through here. Eating at her favorite restaurant. Well, we've got an odd amount, so let's plug in $40. She's just one person, so it's probably not going to take a lot of money to eat out. So let's plug in that $40 there. So now my new total is $200. So I'm just going to put that over there so I can see it. Now, it's always a good idea to think about what are some of the other things that a high school student would need to spend their money on. Of course, she may have to pay for her school lunch. Parents may do that. It didn't specify, so we're not going to worry about that. What about clothing? Let's give her $50 for clothing. Okay, so take away $50. We're at $150. Let's go to entertainment. Let's give her $25 for that, just so she has that. So now I'm down to $125. If you see what I'm doing over here, just so I don't have to lose track of how much money in my head. All right, so I'm at $125. I'm going to give her pocket money. We got to think about that. We could put that $25 there, but $25 over the course of a month is not a lot. So we're going to put $50 in her savings. And that leaves us with $75. Now, what we can do is put that $75 in pocket money. That seems like a lot. She could take that out, right? But what we can do is also put that money into a checking account, and she knows she's got $75 allotted for pocket money. So she doesn't necessarily have to spend it just because it's been put in that spot. Okay, so now I'm down to $0. So again, all this was over here was just some way for me to look at it and kind of keep up with it visually and see where I was at expense-wise. Okay, so now if we notice, I'm looking at the totals. I'm going to take my total from the expenses here is $430 plus the total for savings expense. That's also an expense. So plus that 30 is $480. So I'm going to put that, it should be right there, but for some reason it's not plugging it in. Okay, and so the difference is a 0. And this goes along with the Dave Ramsey philosophy of zero budget, a zero-based budget. Okay, I have accounted for every dollar that Sarah has, okay, and that Sarah makes. Does that mean that she's spending every dollar? No. She has $50 in savings. She has $75 in pocket money. She doesn't have to use all of this money. It can still stay in her checking account. It can definitely stay into her savings. I could have put $25 into the emergency fund and put $50 into her pocket money. Maybe that would have been a better idea. And as she goes into the month of August, Sarah may see, okay, I don't need that much pocket money. You know, I didn't spend that much. So let's add some more money into savings. It's a good thing about a budget is it's always changeable. It's very flexible and it's your budget. So it should fit you, not be just exactly like everyone else's, because obviously you're not making the same amount of money as everyone else, and you don't have the same expenses as everyone else. So it needs to be personalized to you. Okay, so now you'll go into the student budget on your own, and you will be given an example just like Sarah's, and I want you to complete a budget for that individual in that template, and then you will submit your assignment.